Mountain monsters. How do I even begin to describe this TV show?
I'm gonna have to build a trap big enough to be able to hold the lizard demon.
Holy hell, we got him on the run. He's up on the bank.
He's coming right your way.
Let's go.
Come on. Under the water. It's big.
Let me try. You know all the TV shows on History Channel, Discovery, or I don't know, I don't really watch TV. The Animal Channel, is that still a thing? On there, they like to deal with Bigfoot hunting, UFOs, ghost hunting. Now put a bunch of heavily armed, heavily shaped hillbillies from Appalachia as your main cast, and you have mountain monsters. This is by far the wackiest TV show I've probably ever seen, bar none. The idea itself is very silly, but the happenings in the show kind of blew me away. Each episode of this show are hunters, I guess we'd call them. I mean, they're all wearing camouflage and running around with guns. They go out looking for a different cryptid. There's always a different one every episode, for the most part, we learn otherwise later. And by the way, every one of these cryptids is always wherever they are, like South Carolina. They end up catching some evidence, realize, oh, this is where the Loch Ness Monster is at. And then they decide to build a trap and attempt to trap the monster. It doesn't really end there either, because as the show went on, I've only seen 2 episodes, but I picked one later on, they get so much evidence of these monsters. It's obviously fake. But trust me, there isn't an episode where we don't get some crazy supernatural stuff happening to this group, where they're being attacked by a Bigfoot. I can only imagine what their lives must be like every time they go out into the woods. A Bigfoot is trying to literally kill them. As you'd assume by the way that I'm describing it, this show isn't really a reality TV show. It comes across as a parody of the types of shows like Finding Bigfoot or any ghost hunting show. I'd more so consider it a TV comedy. So today we're going to look at 2 different episodes of Mountain Monsters. One in the first season, because I thought the idea of the monster was cool, and the other in season 4. Just random episodes I picked. These are the only 2 episodes I've ever seen. The only other things I've seen of this television show are like maybe YouTubers talking about it. And by the time I was done watching these, I still feel like I have to see more. It's that wild. If you've never seen this show, then boy do I have something to show you. And if you have, let me know some episodes down below that I should check out. If there's enough interest in this, then perhaps I'll make another video on it. With that out of the way, let's get started with the first episode I watched in season 1, where the group goes out and hunts the infamous lizard demon. I don't know what that is either. You never heard of the lizard demon? I gotta admit, I've heard the name Lizard Man, but that's about it. I mean, you got Goat Man, Moth Man, Lizard Man, Dog Man, and then I guess Bigfoot is just Monkey Man and Normal Man. In the beginning of the show, we get to learn what the lizard demon is.
Lizard demon been traveling up through the Ohio River into these farm ponds up in this area. Well, they've been finding deer and they've been finding cattle. Just absolutely mutilated and torn up.
These folklore stories say
They got gills and some kind of triple eyelid eyes, but they do glow in the dark. They hold his breath quite some time underwater.
He's 7.5 feet tall, probably in that 300-400 pound range. He has 3 toes. The center toe is really a lot longer by a couple inches.
I've heard he's been chasing down cars.
Chasing cars?
Chasing cars.
This isn't the last time we'll be seeing this model either, because every time they talk about the lizard demon with people they interview, or what have you, they always show the exact same 3D model just kind of spinning around it. They never create another one. Anyway, they bring this up probably 200 times that the creature has a very distinct footprint that it leaves that is shaped as how they describe it, like a triangle. One of the toes in the middle is longer than all the rest. I've never seen a lizard's foot, so that might just be a lizard thing, and they're really trying to push the point through that we're dealing with a lizard here. After they fill us in on what they're going to be doing in this episode, they head off to some local fellas around and question them about what they've seen. It just so happens that the lizard demon is now making a habitat out of the Ohio River, and a certain guy named J. Bob witnessed it.
I'm J-Bob. Trapper?
How are you?
I'm all right, man. I don't know what's going on. I seen something.
What did you see? I mean,
I was out here one day, and I tell you what, this lizard man come right down in that pond and jumped right in there. I've never seen anything move like that critter in my entire life.
I've been to the South, and I live in the Midwest, but pretty south in the Midwest, Kansas. I have never met a person named J. Bob. I don't know if that is just a nickname, or if somebody in Appalachia was having a baby. You know what would be a good name for our boy here? J. Bob. Just What a name. And he perfectly fits the description of what you would envision a J-Bob to look like. I really hope it's a nickname. I love it either way, though. After talking to J-Bob for a bit, J-Bob tells them that the lizard demon was sighted on his property over by a little pond that he has. He doesn't live too far away from the Ohio River, so the lizard demon is probably going from his ponds and around the area. But not only did he witness it, he says that on his trail camera, he got a picture of it.
Feast your eyes on this.
Holy. Whoa. Wow.
Damn, that's a good picture.
Yeah.
You see the scales? That's unbelievable.
It is.
Look how big it is compared to that tree. I mean,
I didn't think his front limbs would be that big.
They're huge.
the trail camera picture was the most unusual thing I've seen. It's a real hardcore piece of evidence. It showed the gills in his neck, it showed his rib belly, and it shows this massive body.
J. Bob, I want to thank you for your story.
Yeah, I don't believe it, but I don't feel like I have to explain why either. I'm kind of with the characters though, because what the ever-loving fuck is the lizard demon doing by the Ohio River? That doesn't really compute. I think of lizards, I don't think of that region of America. I think more like the desert. I need to start studying lizards. I don't know anything about them. Anyway, after talking to J-Bob and learning that the lizard demon has been moving around his area, they decide to go ahead and go out and collect some evidence of their own. While going out at night looking for paths or footprints showing evidence that it's been in this area, the group doesn't forget to warn us that the lizard man is very dangerous, especially in the water. I don't know where they learned this, but they seem to be complete experts on every cryptid. Everyone. I mean, they've probably ran into every single one of them.
This thing's big, fast, and dangerous. Those claws have been known to rip through the metal on cars. For God's sakes, don't get in that close to him.
He gets in that close, I'll shoot him.
Yeah. Put the double buckshot to it.
Yep.
Let's go find this son of a bitch.
All right.
But not even 3 minutes into their little journey to collect evidence, they find it.
Look here. See it?
Awful big, isn't it?
If that would be what we're after, it'd have to, something 7 foot tall would have to have a foot like that.
Whatever it was big and heavy, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
I don't know why they'd assume that this was a lizard man track. It's just an indention in the ground. But one of the characters said that, yeah, that had to be made by somebody at least 7 feet tall. So I'm just going with their word. They're the experts here. It's after finding this footprint or indention in the ground that we get one of my favorite moments out of this first episode. So one of the groups is walking around together, just off on land, while the other group is over by the river. The image of this really cracks me up. So you have 2 old men, like pretty old guys, just sitting by the river. One of them is holding a camera that supposedly has thermal imaging. Maybe all cameras can capture that. I don't really care. So he has this old like looking camera just holding it up. And then the other guy's just holding a Glock with a flashlight on it. And they just keep bringing up how scared they are in that moment while absolutely nothing's happening. It's just very goofy.
Jeff, this is spooky.
I'm getting a little sense of fear here too. I'm not holding the camera real steady.
Feel like something's looking at me. I'm ready to back out of here, I can tell you that.
It's not too long after this image of those guys holding their gun at the water, like they're gonna shoot at a fish that jumps out, that the show really plays its hand and shows us that it's not to be taken very seriously.
Thing dead ends back in here a little bit, Buck.
Goes back to dead ends.
Yeah.
Come on! What? Get out of there! Oh, it's still here,
What the
Trapper. It's still
hell?
here.
We got Buck.
There's something right above us.
These guys must have something very special going on, because not even 3 minutes after going down this embankment, the guys come in contact with the lizard demon itself. I mean, how else could you explain this clip? The audio where you hear a weird lizard-like creature, and the production crew member above them kicking rocks off and rustling in the bushes? It's obviously the real deal. After the near-death run-in with the lizard man, demon, the group figures that they have enough evidence that the lizard demon is actually residing in this region. So what do?
Trapper just got a hold of me, give me some information on the lizard demon. So I'm gonna have to build a trap big enough to hold the strength of a bear, but it's just gonna be like a crocodile or an alligator trap because it's gonna be in the water. Found this humongous old smokestack. So it's plenty heavy enough, 2,200 pound piece of pipe. And now all I gotta do is get this thing chopped down and weld it up on some ends, put a trigger in it, put a nice snap door down on it, to be able to hold the lizard demon.
It doesn't end with them just making a trap and going out and hunting this guy though, because they also have to go and interview more fellas. The next guy they interview isn't as special as J-Bob. He just has a fairly normal and boring name, Mark. What a fucking boring, dorky name, dude, Mark. I wonder who named J-Bob. Was it his dad or his mom? Probably his dad, right? By the way, YouTube, that was just me making bad jokes, not being funny, not me bullying anyone. Mark nor J-Bob. Mark is a fine name, and if your name's Mark, good job. So Mark just pretty much tells us a boring story about how he saw the lizard man down in this little valley. It's pretty much a nothing burger. It's just, wow, thanks for telling us, Mark. The funny thing is these guys already have proof that the lizard demon is in the area, supposedly from running into him. So this interview with Mark just wastes 5 minutes of our time because he doesn't tell us anything we don't already know. But it doesn't really end there because they go and interview another guy. But in this interview with the other guy, I think his name is Bob, we actually get a pretty funny moment.
Jeff tells me you had a unusual sighting out here.
Something moving along the tree line. Like as I got up to it, it was standing up. Oh God, close to 7 foot tall.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty big.
Well, I'll tell you what the hell you're looking at is the lizard demon. We've tracked him. We've came here, and this is the final gateway for him to come through.
What we'd like to do is take a look at where you had your sighting at.
I'd be happy to show you.
This had me laughing pretty hard. The way the guy reacts.
Is the lizard demon. We've tracked him.
I bet they had to cut the cameras right after. It's now with the interviews wrapping up and our team getting ready to go out and hunt the lizard man. We get to meet my favorite character in this entire show, Wild Bill.
The only thing we're doing right now is waiting on Wild Bill to get here. As soon as he get here, we can hurry and get this trap set down in the water.
There he is.
Hey, Wild Bill.
It looks like a big old trap to catch a big old black bear.
To me like you overdone that, bro. All right, you're good. I can't get out. Help me.
Now, I can't really understand a single thing that Wild Bill says. I get bits and pieces here and there, but I can feel what he says, if you get what I mean. Believe it, brother. His energy is just next level. I feel a spiritual connection with the guy almost, like he's my spirit animal. As the kids would say, he's a vibe. After Wild Bill and the other guy building the trap dump it in the water, they have one more thing to do, and that is bait the trap. They have this whole ass chicken, and they need somebody to swim down there and put the chicken in there. And who do you think gets sent into the water other than the fattest guy they have on crew? I mean, it's obvious that the producers wanted to do this. Just like, oh, I know they're gonna pick this guy. They give a funny remark like, oh, you're the youngest one here, brother. Why don't you get down there? You're in good shape. Even, yep, no offense to the guy. He seems like a really nice guy.
I still got to have the trap baited.
You guys know how cold that water's gonna be?
That's why you're getting in her, Buck.
Let's check, brother. Yeah, you are.
After getting the trap set, it's time for night 2, the final hunt. This hunt is probably the worst part of the episode, though. You'd think actually going after the thing would be the most entertaining part, but it's just a bunch of redneck dudes running around at night with lights on their head and guns in their hands, yelling about, oh my god, I'm scared, because they hear sticks cracking in the woods.
Right here, brother. Right there's my weapon. Get him by the head and bring him back. I'll make a little small incision on him.
You know, I always take these night hunts real serious, you know, where all of our lives are on the line.
Pretty early on into this hunt, they find an actual track of the lizard man that has like the 3 fingers or toes. I guess they're toes. The track is just very clear and fresh looking, like somebody just placed a fucking something down on the ground. It gave me a bit of a giggle. The group then just runs around looking for the lizard man. You have one group out in the water and then the other group on land. And their plan is to push the lizard demon into the trap. I don't get the point of baiting it for that in that instance, but this all takes probably 10 minutes of the episode though, where nothing really happens. One of the teams ends up seeing something on thermal camera and chases it up to this barn. Then it's like, oh, there's noises up here. The other group walks around in the water and on a boat, and they end up finding a rib cage, just a whole ass rib cage. I don't know if it's from like a pig or something. That is until they all meet each other on land, and they're like, well, brother, we thought we saw something on thermal camera, but then they hear something off in the water. They all hold their guns up, ready to go and run towards the water, and just start shooting the fucking water. They just start unloading.
Whoa! Back here!
Get over there, somebody! What's that right out in front of you, Huckleberry? Right there.
Oh.
What is that?
What is that?
What is that right there?
Let me get a light on that.
40 feet in front of you, Trapper. Oh, right there. Something just hit again. Right
there, right there, right there. Let's go.
He was within 50 feet of us, and it was down to the point either fire upon or be attacked ourselves.
I don't know. Where'd he go? Hit him.
Where'd he go? Get him? I think you hit him.
There's no way we could have missed him. There's no way we could have missed him.
And that much firepower, y'all should have hit something.
It is very funny. The camera never really pans out to the water to show us what they're shooting at. They're not really shooting at anything. I can just envision this in my mind. This whole thing is oh my god, just picture this, okay? You have a group of like 10 hillbillies all running around with guns and camouflage and these big old lights on their forehead. And then around them, you have 15 members of production just holding cameras and microphones and shit, just all running around, screaming about how scared they are. I can't blame the lizard demon for running away from them. That would be one hell of a sight. Sadly though, in the end, the lizard demon managed to escape them. Just barely, dang it. They're able to think about it positively though.
I can promise you right now, he ain't coming back around here.
No,
I guarantee he
No.
knew we was here.
The threat to those farmers, that cattle land is over.
Yeah.
We did our job.
I believe this lizard demon is somebody else's problems now, because I believe we scared the damn thing off.
And after all that, they end up still managing to be heroes. Except for some poor guy that the lizard demon ran off to, who is now being haunted by the lizard demon on his property. Anyway, that was an episode from the first season of Mountain Monsters. I think it was like episode 7, called Lizard Demon. I clicked on it because it said Lizard Demon. I was like, what the hell is a lizard demon? And I kind of enjoyed it. It was just trashy fun TV, but it felt more like a reality TV show. I thought at first that the producers were just kind of being dickheads, pumping in sound, making them fake things, and these guys weren't really a part of it. But that was until I saw the next episode we're going to watch. How I found this episode is I was just looking for random episodes that had cool sounding cryptids or monsters. And I saw one from season 4 titled The Coyote King. I've never heard of the Coyote King. When I saw it, I had to figure out what the fuck a Coyote King was. And brother, let me tell you, this show goes from 0 to 100 instantaneously, and it made me realize the creators of this show are very aware of what they're doing. How it comes off, they are leaning very heavily into it. The show goes from a silly version of Finding Bigfoot with rednecks to a completely self-aware parody. I don't know how to describe it. The intro to this episode alone is crazier than anything from the first episode we watched. Probably anything that happened in the entire first season of the show. Part of me wanted to start the video off with just the episode we're about to talk about, and maybe do another episode, because of how insane this is. But I wanted to give you guys a baseline with that first season, to kind of get a feeling for the show like I did.
Did you see that? Was that the death cat?
While on the trail of the Cherokee Death Cat, the Ames team was attacked.
Oh my gosh.
And after finally reaching the barn,
You can feel the evil.
the mystery
What the hell?
What is this?
tonight,
Hello? Dude, is that blood?
the hunt
This ain't good.
Oh! Right there!
Yeah.
Go get the death cat!
This thing has everything. They're attacked by a mythological lion death cat creature, then they run into like a demonic ritual. What do you know, there's like witches involved or something, and then they see a ghost of a woman in a hospital gown in a cornfield? It's just the first season multiplied by 500 within the first 20 seconds. I understand I hopped into a random episode of the show, but I didn't realize this show actually had stuff going on for multiple episodes. So we're kind of hopping in without knowing actually what's going on, but that intro was just so entertaining that I had to figure out what it was about. One of the first things I noticed, other than this show is absolutely wacky beyond belief, is that in this episode, the editing really turned way up. It's very cancer, so it's not in a good way, but I love it because it's so ridiculous. It takes the atmosphere and the feeling and the overacting by these characters up tenfold. Made me realize I know for a fact that these guys are just trying to make a fucking weird, funny TV show and not trying to actually hunt lizard men in the woods. It definitely makes those guys on Finding Bigfoot seem a little boring after watching this, though. Chasing ghosts around in a cornfield and hearing like a giant North American lion roaring at you and trying to bite you in half. You go to the Finding Bigfoot guys who are going out in the woods going, woo! And banging trees with sticks. It really only gets better from this point on too, because the next few moments of the show after the intro, it just feels like something they ripped straight out of like a B horror movie.
What the hell? Daggone.
What is this?
Holy.
We just heard a noise around the side of the barn. Me and Jeff's going to go try to check on that little girl. Where's she going? And Huck's going to go check out that noise.
Damn, that was loud.
Why is there a little girl out here in the middle of the night?
Hello? Nice and easy, Jeff. Nice and easy, buddy. Oh, boy.
What's she pointing at?
I don't know. Dude, is that blood?
That's blood.
We need to try to help her, Jeff. Are you okay?
What's a little girl doing out here at night? This made me laugh harder than I think anything has in the past couple weeks. The idea of some rednecks just going out into the woods, or hillbillies, my bad, and then they see a ghost girl in a fucking hospital gown with blood on her walking around. They're just like, what are you doing out here, little girl? And they follow it. Not to mention that they see this little girl in the cornfield because they're hunting a lion in South Carolina.
Are you hurt?
Oh! What was that?
I originally thought this video was just going to be them running around like in the first season looking for a coyote king. Big coyote, I guess. But I'll take hillbilly ghost hunting instead of that. Anyway, the little girl ends up disappearing, and they never really talk about it again. Feels like something you bring up. And instead they go chasing after this ridiculous lion. And it doesn't end at just a lion and a ghost girl.
And that's when we heard the... that?
I feel like, I want to talk about the show for a second. I feel like the show would get kind of annoying and overwhelming just because it's so absurd. It would get grating after probably a few episodes of watching it, but part of me wants to watch much more of it. I think if this video does well, I'll probably make another video on this show, but if it does really well, I might cover the whole storyline of this series, just watch every episode and see if there's like an episodic, like, story arcs, I guess, and try to cover them. That is if Discovery Channel and Warner Brothers doesn't try to murder me for using their material, even though it's fair use. So please don't try to copyright strike me. I can guarantee this video will get claimed, but I'm gonna fight it. I have heard bad stories of people trying to cover this show, though, so good luck me. That reminds me, if you're still watching the video, love you, thank you. If you're enjoying it, I plan on doing more reality weird TV shows like this. So subscribe to the channel to be notified of more. And drop me a like, that really helps in the algorithm. Also, likes and comments on the video really let me know that people like it and want me to make more. So that pushes me harder to make more content for you. Back to the show. This show is the most schizo show I've probably ever seen. During the hunt for the Death Cat, they managed to run into what we've already seen, being the little girl. But then they see a guy enter this door, and somehow these doors are portals around their land or wherever they're at. So they see a guy walking around with a torch, and he kind of goes through these doors and disappears. Well, he's the main focus of this episode. And the reason it's called the Coyote King is when he's around, we hear coyotes yelping, barking, howling. I don't know what the term is for what coyotes do, but we hear them in the background. One of the characters is like, he instantly assumes it's the King Coyote. Never heard of it. Imagine somebody were to be flipping through stations and just find this show, but this is the first episode they ever see. They're just flipping through TV shows, some old guy, and he sees the intro to this show. I wonder, without any previous context, I wonder what that would be like. So yeah, the guys all spend the next like 10 minutes running around chasing the guy with a torch until he disappears. This goes on for a bit until we get a resemblance of the past episode in the first season, when they go to interview somebody about their run-in with the Coyote King.
We may have some information that can help us on our investigation.
Howdy.
How you guys go?
Dwayne's an avid outdoorsman. He's out here all the time.
Hoorah! Hoorah!
He just loves the woods.
We've ran into some other critters that we know's not the Death Cat.
Oh, yeah?
And we heard you had an encounter that might be able to shed some light on what exactly else is out here.
Sound like coyote howling or something barking or something, you know, didn't know for sure what it was. I looked over here to the left. My wife goes, what is that? I said, I don't know what it is. And it got over there and I could see the back of it down there. And it stood about 4 foot off the ground when I seen it the first time. I was like, what the hell is that thing? Biggest coyote I'd ever seen.
Now, I've never seen a coyote that big. Whatever this is, it ain't a normal coyote.
I swear these guys have probably experienced every single cryptid. I bet they saw a fucking Yeti in a cornfield. I mean, I did see an episode about werewolves. I can just imagine these guys hunting werewolves with silver crossbow bolts and camouflage. Van Helsing in Wrong Turn, something like that. After all the interview is done, the crew goes back out to the woods where they instantly run into the death cat from previous episodes I haven't seen. And the death cat is supposedly just jumping between trees above them, so they all stop and just aim their guns up at the trees and start screaming at it, but they lose sight of it. So what do you think they do? Well, they grab one of the guys, tie a rope around him, and just send him up the tree to get a better sight of it?
We know the Cherokee Death Cat is here. That thing's nothing short of ferocious.
Oh! Dang! Get a weapon up, get a weapon up. That's something big, dude.
That could have been that death cat.
Oh! Hey!
Right above you, guys, I'm telling you. Come on, back over this way. Back out, guys. You don't want to stand there.
Come on, come on, come on. Come on.
We've got movement, see it?
We just got movement up in this tree right above us. Something that big to be all the way up in the tree, shaking limbs like that? This has to be the Cherokee Death Cat.
They haven't changed much since the first episode either that we watched, because every time they talk about this fucking death cat, we just keep seeing the 3D model of it, the same one, over and over. No 3D model of the Coyote King, though. I was hoping for that. The show doesn't stay at this level of them just chasing this death cat around for long, though. The problem is every time that they actually manage to get close to one monster or cryptid, another one shows up. So while they're looking at this death cat, trying to find it in the trees with the cameras, well, guess what? They hear coyotes howling, and they turn around and they see the guy with the torch. So now they gotta chase after him.
It's a cloaked figure carrying a torch. Why's that guy back with a torch?
What do you want us to do, Buck? We can see the cloaked figure again right by our trap. Why do they keep going there?
What the hell's he doing, Willie?
We gotta move. All of a sudden, we hear coyotes in the distance, and that cloaked figure breaks right towards them.
The editing during this chase of this guy is just, it's like a maniac came in and just started cutting the video up for them. It's so hard to follow. They chase him to a random door in the middle of the woods, and he goes through and disappears again.
What are you doing? Hey!
Willie, you all right?
Hey! What are you doing? Hey! Hey! What the? This is the second time I've seen a cloaked figure disappear through a door like that. How's this even possible?
We then see them have a very long conversation about what they're going to do from now on with the torch guy indoors. And they come up with a plan. So these guys are master trappers, right? That's how they plan on attacking every single one of these cryptids. So they come up with the idea that they're just going to trap the guy with a torch. If it works on cryptid, why can't it work on a man? For a second, though, imagine that all this crazy stuff happening around these guys is completely real. And these are the only people working on trying to figure it out. We will never get to the bottom of this. After coming together for this whole trap idea, the group gets put into the dumbest conversation I think I've ever heard on TV. I've never watched, like, whatever those housewives shows are or any of that, so maybe it gets much worse on those. Never plan on watching them, though.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself to him.
I'd like to invite him for some trumpets and tea.
What are they laughing about?
I don't know, Bill.
What's trumpets and tea?
A trumpet.
I know they aren't this dumb. You don't mishear tea and crumpets and think tea and trumpets. It's silly, it's funny, it's like Trailer Park Boys, haha, I get it. But they go on for like 5 minutes. He thought it was tea and trumpet. Oh, you like a trumpet? Oh my god. After a way too long scene of tea and trumpets, we actually get to see the plan go into action.
Bring her in, brother.
Stay still, stay still.
Yeah, get some, yeah.
They built a fucking zip line. That was the plan. This is pretty funny to me because the zip line isn't great. They spent probably 30 minutes plus hanging this zip line up, getting it ready, just for when the guy got on there to zip down it, to go slower than he would have if he would have just walked. But also his feet are dragging halfway along it. To put a cherry on top of this, they don't even end up using the zip line for the actual catch. Nevertheless, though, the moment comes to catch this guy, we see them waiting around. They're kind of having a conversation up in like a tree stand or something, like a hunting stand, while this guy walks closer to the trap and it keeps cutting back to him and then cutting to them over and over again, probably 8 or 9 times, but it keeps showing the same scene of him walking up to it every time. So I just wanted to nitpick at that. That annoyed me. There's only so many times you can cut between guys making soy faces and a guy walking up to a trap over and over again just to not enter. The problem, too, is they don't even show us if they caught the guy or not. Right before they run up to the trap, the episode ends and we roll credits.
Hot diggity dog, right there he comes. We can see him coming. Trap's working perfection.
That floor should have broke. Damn, we got him.
We got him. Well, he's in there, dude.
We got
Yeah, yeah.
He's in the trap. We got him.
Hell yes, he is. Look at him.
He's freaking out in there.
Hell yeah.
At the front. Let's get him. Come on.
I'm not going to blue ball you guys like they tried to, though, so I went ahead and I continued on to the next episode just to kind of get this storyline wrapped up for us.
Go, go. Whoever this is, we're going to finally find out what they want. I can see him at the front. Let's get him. Come on. What the? He's gone. What the hell happened? He's not in there. He's gone. He's not in there. Where'd he go?
Yeah, it was just as anticlimactic, so. But I still feel left disappointed. That's a great explanation of mountain monsters. Disappointment. This show was way wackier and crazier than I ever expected. I mean, I've watched, I think, one video on YouTube and saw other people make videos on this TV show, and they talked about how wild it was, so I knew I wanted to go ahead and give it a try. I pretty much just wanted to watch it on my own, but I knew it might make for a good YouTube video. It wasn't very hard to make, so I think maybe I can start covering TV shows and stuff in between covering movies. That way I can just cover like a single episode or a couple episodes, because it's way quicker than watching like a full movie or 5 movies or 7 movies sometimes in my videos. Plus, it's definitely a much sillier direction than most horror films I cover, so it's kind of a nice, palate cleanser. I thought you guys would be just as entertained with a bunch of rednecks running around in the woods chasing Bigfoot as I was, though, so if you enjoyed the video, let me know. Overall, as I was saying earlier in this video, I do think I want to cover more of this show if the whole copyright situation isn't too annoying, and if the video gets a decent response from people. If it gets, you know, some views kind of closer to what my horror videos do, then yeah, I'll probably cover more of it. Definitely let me know down below. If you have any other crazy TV shows that you've seen that you think are worth watching or talking about, I definitely like getting input from you guys. It helps me know. A lot of the trouble with making videos like this is trying to figure out what you want to make the video on. So any pointers are definitely appreciated. Anyway, that was Mountain Monsters. So much crazier than I even expected. I don't know how this show only has a 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb. I think maybe some people don't realize that it's just fake garbage, and that's the fun part of it. And then other people are probably annoyed by the fact that it's fake garbage. Or maybe you don't even find it funny. I do. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, drop me a like and sub to the channel. This was Mountain Monsters. Another video is coming soon. If you watch the horror movie videos, I'm making a video on The Purge. It is very difficult. You'll see why in the next video then. So that should be out soon too. Probably not too long after this video. You guys are awesome. Peace.